Minister, I'm sure you'll be concerned about the unemployment rate with Māori, and I just want to know, first of all, what's your strategy been around consultation with Māori, and in terms of addressing Māori unemployment, what are the strategies going forward? Have you got a plan in terms of that, given unemployment rate for Māori is double and has been for some years?
Yeah. So basically the Invest to Save is for Māori unemployed, Pacifica unemployed, disabled unemployed, you name it. That's why we have a range of initiatives available. And if you think about case management, that is why it is effective. It is dealing with the person in front of you, the challenges and barriers they face to employment. So yes, what we do know is when the labour market is tight and unemployment is higher than we'd like, it disproportionately affects young people, Māori, Pacifica, disabled. And that's why, again, focusing on an Invest to Save allows us to put more resource into the things that work.
Yeah.
In terms of your question around consultation, I'm meeting with providers on a regular basis, including Māori providers who don't solely run programs and services for Māori unemployed, but that's often heavily weighted in terms of the population they work with.
Minister, is there a problem in terms of, and I can understand what you're doing, but is there a problem with the universal type strategy, you know, as compared to the targeted strategy, which where you're doing a total focus in terms of Māori? You will recall we had Māori employment programs, we brought in the experts, you know, going down this universal strategy, which I think is where you're going. Don't you think you'll miss that target? I mean, isn't it, do you think that's one of the problems?
It's not universal, because if you look at Haipōtama Rangatahi, yes, for example, I think it's 70% of the participants are Māori, and Mano Mahi, again, heavily proportion.
What about Māori trade training, the Minister? I mean, can you tell me why you cancelled Māori trade training?
Yep. So where there were time-limited funding, that's the first programs that would stop, and we've allowed many of those COVID initiatives and programs that were funded due to COVID to lapse. If you think back to those unfortunate times, we expected the unemployment rate, or some of the estimates would be that the unemployment rate would hit double digits. We're sitting at 5.1 as an unemployment rate. It hasn't moved in the last little while. So it does make sense that programs that were funded because of COVID and the circumstances at the time, we don't require those to be continued.
Although the feedback I get, with respect, Minister, on Māori trade training has been terrific. And you know, that was a concept that we started because our communities told us that this had been successful in past years, and we broadened it, you know, we brought in the hairdressing and all that. I would have thought it would have been something that you would have continued, given you had the success in front of you. Yeah,
so the reality is we can't fund everything. Part of having to prioritise and get on top of high government spending is actually making choices about what gets continued and what doesn't. And as I said, have been very clear about initiatives that were started due to COVID when the circumstances were envisaged to be quite different, with double-digit unemployment. Thank goodness we didn't reach those figures, but we're down at 5.1%, and we need to focus on the programs that have been funded, that we do know are successful, like Mana and Mahi, like Haipōtama Rangatahi, and case management.
I know that others want to come in. Can I just I was listening to the exchanges over the homelessness kaupapa. Obviously, it's a very, very important kaupapa. Are you concerned that, in terms of the homeless area, about the amount of people who are homeless because of the use of sanctions?
Well, I'm not gonna cover off areas that are a colleague's responsibility. But in terms of sanctions specifically, actually it's been really encouraging to see that 98% of those on benefit are complying with their obligations. They're at green. That's great news. 1.2% are at red. So that is a very low number. And the other addition that I thought the member might appreciate is that we have added, MSD have added a key performance indicator to their suite of measures around people understanding what their obligations are. So I think the traffic light system is working. The sanctions are fair and reasonable, and they're communicated when a person first signs on to a benefit. So there's actually multiple interactions. That's also why case management is effective. We want to see a more active welfare system and one that is more intensive rather than hands-off.